And that helps lead to a strong, healthy, wholesome relationship in your love language. You're going to gain weight. You're going to go through surgeries. Life is going to hit you, but you can maintain being attracted to your mate and let them know what's sexy to them. It may be lingerie.
Welcome to The Bradbys Show with your hosts, Matthew and Candy Bradby. If you are looking for a raw, honest, and original podcast that takes aim at popular questions from relationships, marriage, family, sex, and more, then you are at the right place. If you are a couple with a question, Matthew and Candy have an answer. And now, let's join our hosts for today's exciting show.
I'm Matthew.
And I'm Candy.
And we're the Bradbys. We want to thank you for tuning into today's podcast. I believe today, babe, we have a podcast that so many people been looking for. You know, I was just looking at our inboxes, and thank you so much, y'all, for sending in your show ideas. And if you're looking at us on YouTube right now, do us a favor and click the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon, and as she always says,
please leave a comment. We love to hear from you.
Most definitely. And if you're tuning in on social media, do us a favor and join or like our page. Please interact with us because we like talking to couples. Couples leave us all kinds of interesting show ideas. So we really want to be an interactive medium to answer questions and to help relationships grow.
Yes.
You know, we've been celebrating over 10 years together, and it hasn't been easy.
Marriage part's been easy.
Marriage part's been easy, but
life has been tough.
Yeah, just life. Yeah. So today, you know, this was by a young couple. They had been in a relationship pretty much for 11 months, and they were just saying, you know, what are the things, or what are the 5 things needed to build a healthy, strong relationship? And I said, man, I think Candy and I are really equipped to answer that question.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a countdown from 5 to 1 to give you those, we call them ingredients, those 5 key elements that we need, that you need, that every relationship needs to grow,
yes,
to blossom,
yes,
and to be healthy. That's the most important.
yes.
Because so many people contact us with unhealthy or toxic relationships, and it's like trying to dig yourself out of a hole. What you think?
I agree. I totally agree, babe.
So, first and foremost, let's start the countdown. Okay. With number 5
is,
you know that one. You the one who told me about it.
Oh,
know your partner's love
language.
language.
Know your partner's love language. Oh yes, know your.
Know your.
I'm still tired. I'm still recovering from Florida.
Yeah, she's been off for you. For those who don't know, she went to the Nationals with the Baltimore Bearcats 10U team. They've been gone for 9 days, left me alone for cat and the dog, and I've been losing my mind. But other than that, so we're going to let her start it over again.
Okay.
All right.
Number 5 is know your partner's love language.
Talk to me. You the one who suggested that.
Because I know that if you don't know how your partner receives love, then what you think is the right way, they're not getting it.
Okay.
Like I know with you, you love touch.
Okay.
You love affection.
Right.
You love for me to touch you, to kiss you, to hug you.
Yes.
Just to snuggle up next to you.
Right.
That helps you feel love.
Okay.
Some people, they need to hear it. They need to hear their partner say, I love you, or you're wonderful. Not to blow up their head, but they just need to hear what you're feeling.
You shouldn't be afraid to blow up your partner's head in a relationship. I mean, if they look good and you're attracted to them, I believe that you owe it to your spouse or your partner to let them know daily that they're wanted, because, you know, there is a lot of distractions out there. And, you know, if you don't water your grass, somebody else will. Right. And I'm quite sure you get a lot of compliments no matter where you go. And
I love you.
It ain't got to do with love. It's just a fact of life when you look good. And I'm going to tell y'all this. It's a side note. Don't get jealous. If you have an attractive mate, other people should find them attractive too. So as long as you keep your proper perspectives and some of the little elements we're going to add later, you implement this, there should no be a problem. I don't mind when somebody else say your wife looks good or she got a nice body and stuff like that. That don't blow my head because I know you're going home to. You know, and with you, you know, being in the public spectacle or the spotlight, being a pastor, doing so many endeavors that I do, other women be saying little things and stuff like that, but with the love language, we keep ourselves healthy.
Yes.
I can't keep my hands off you. Look at she smiling, y'all. She laughing. I just can't. I can't. If I got a pat on the butt or put my arms around her while she's cooking food in the kitchen, or she better not bend over there in the refrigerator.
That's your other love language.
Which is?
When I cook for you.
Oh, most definitely.
When I make you a nice big old meal.
You don't know.
Sometimes it can be simple meals, just hot dogs and beans.
Yo,
on the night you want it.
I'm East Baltimore, I'm East Baltimore, so I like.
But just cook. But I noticed that's your other. You like when I cook for you.
Love it. I mean, it's with love. Yeah, I don't hear pots and pans slamming. I was in a relationship with somebody slamming. I didn't even want to eat that angry food.
Nah, my food's full of love.
Yes, it is. And my boys take after me because, they eat it just like I eat it.
Yes, they do.
But, getting back to knowing your love language, I think that's very, very important. A lot of times because we've been in relationships with other people, we try to bring their likes into our new relationship. And so one of the things that we did early on was to talk about it.
Yes.
We talked about a lot of stuff. Before we became lovers, we became acquaintances and then friends. Right. So it was a progression. And I think in today's society, we jump too fast. Just because somebody like you don't mean you need to be in a relationship with them.
That's a whole nother show.
Definitely. And you want to continually grow. So knowing your partners, it's not going to be the same. That's why I was telling the guy the other day, I told him, stop watching porn. That's not love. What you see on there it's not love. It's a job. It's an industry. It's a fantasy. It's an impossibility. You don't want to pattern your relationship after something that you see on porn. I mean, get to know your spouse,
Know what their love language. Do they need to see, do they need like love letters?
Right.
Do they need to hear it? Do they need to feel it?
Right.
Find out how do they feel loved?
Right. How do they feel
If you don't know how your spouse feels loved, you guys need to sit down and have a conversation.
Right. I think that should be early and often. And because we evolve in our relationships, we grow as individuals and as a couple. You should do it often because what may have turned you on back in the day may not be a turn on today. I mean, right, because, as a person gets old, all the patting on the butt and stuff like that, it changes. Everybody changes. So you don't want to be doing something maybe
I
look
still like the stuff you did in the beginning.
Right, but not everybody. When your body changes and stuff happens and stuff, you may not feel as sexy as you were or don't want certain things.
But I think the fact that you still treat me the same way as I did when I was 50 pounds lighter. And
but you know what I say
less
about
scars.
But you know what I say about
you still treat me the same way as though I look like I did when we first met.
You know what I say about black women, right? Black women gives you the best of all worlds. Let me share this with y'all. What she is at 20, she's different at 30. What she is at 30, she's different at 40. What she is at 40, she's different at 50, and so on. So what you got to do is understand that what I met 10, 11 years ago has morphed. The little bit, more bounce to the ounce is what counts sometimes. And, and being sexy, people don't understand. I think being attractive or good looking is different than being sexy. Sexy oftentimes has to do with looks. That's why I was telling you before that you wonder, why that guy with her? If she's sexy, that's the attitude, the mindset, the aura. That outweighs good looks every day. Every day. You can look good and not be sexy. You can just be appealing to the eye. Oh, she look good. But when you're sexy, when it oozes machismo, like when it just comes out your pore, that's what's popping. And that helps lead to a strong, healthy, wholesome relationship in your love language. You're going to gain weight. You're going to go through surgeries. Life is going to hit you. But you can maintain being attracted to your mate and let them know what's sexy to them. It may be lingerie. Because you got to get rid of these house coats.
Well, some men just like their wives in a t-shirt in their panties. That's sexy to some men.
Right. Or you can just panties in a dress shirt.
True.
Yeah, that's sexy too. Or ow, put on my Ravens jersey. Yes.
Okay, let's go to number 4.
Number 4, what's number 4? Number 4 is know your role in the relationship.
Yes.
You have to know your role and expectations in your relationship. You do. It's very, very, very important. I mean, the 5 things that we're going to talk about, they can be interchangeable, but I think after your love language, knowing your role is key in establishing a firm, healthy, and wholesome foundation.
It's not knowing your role can ruin a relationship.
You know,
and it's not a bad thing because it's what's good for your relationship.
Right.
Not every relationship.
Right, because every relationship is different. And knowing your role, I want to know not just my role, but you added to that or embellished it by saying your expectations. Okay, because when you're setting a foundation for your relationship, you should know your role. What part am I expected to play in this relationship? And some people say that's old-timey. And what I've seen is when you don't establish these boundaries early, it's a lot of competition and fights.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, and even looking at the roles, and this is key, men and women, your spouse or your partner is not your enemy.
Or low-key anger.
Right.
But I'm like, you're upset because they're not doing this and they're not doing that. Well, they didn't know you expected that from them.
But that's why you got to have that conversation. This is on both of you because,
yeah,
you know, it's more than just saying, I love you, I love you. You got to know going into this relationship what's expected of me. What do you want? You know, if I don't know, you know, or if I haven't taken time to sit down, right? Because, you know, everything ain't an expensive dinner and driving around in a sports car to impress them. You have them now. Now let's build a relationship by knowing your wants, your needs, your expectations of me. You know, because, you know, with us, you know, it sounds harsh, but this would fit us. I told you I need you to have either a part-time job or a job that will avail you to our kids. Because I know as the man I am, I was working a lot of hours. I was needed at work, and I would say I don't mind taking care of the household, but the most important job is the backbone of the household, which is the woman.
And I was okay with taking on that responsibility
because we talked about it earlier too.
Yes.
And maybe, and I'm just saying this, maybe the contention in your relationship for a lot of people is you didn't have that conversation, and there's no knock on you. She's career minded. She's in corporate America. She's moved up the ladder. And what you expect your woman to be may not be what she's willing to be.
Yes.
You know, talk to us a lot about that.
Well, like with us, when you were pastoring the church, that I knew what I was getting into as being a pastor's wife.
Okay.
I knew what you expected of me as your wife.
Right.
Within the church.
Right.
And within our home. And what my responsibilities were going to have to be with taking care of our home and taking care of the church family. And I think that's where couples have that problem because they don't have that discussion with each other. So the wife have her own expectations on what she should be doing and what she wants to do, and not really don't know what her husband's expectations are of what
she expects,
what he expects and what he wants her to do, and that's where the clash comes.
Well, a lot of minister friends of mine, you know, disagree with how I handle things, but I tell everybody it's okay to disagree, but you're not in a relationship. When I told you, you're married to me, not the church. You're not expected to fill in a role or wear those hats or doing those things that you're uncomfortable with doing. And as my wife, I don't want you to feel the need to impress people. As long as you're what I need for me and our family, that's all that matters. You know, because people will get you caught up in tradition and try to customize you or fit you into a role that you weren't built for. And I think that what you became to the church far surpasses the mold of most first ladies,
Mm-hmm.
where you just sitting in the front. You were actively engaging in the things you like, with dealing with the children and being on the welcoming committee.
I like being in the background.
Yeah, I mean, but there's nothing wrong with that. But because you fit me.
Yeah, I didn't need to be up front in
Right.
front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I preferred to be in the background,
Right.
handling things,
But-
and
but that's not
you
just-
were okay with that.
Right. But that's not bad, though, because there are some women who want to be side by side in every endeavor. But early and often, like we're saying right now, know the role, know the expectation, and set your boundaries.
Because some couples work well that way.
Right.
The husband wants his wife right there by his side.
Right.
And it's not saying that you didn't want me there,
Mm-hmm.
but you knew that I wasn't comfortable in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't push me to be up there, up front, preaching and
Mm-hmm.
everything else.
Yeah. I mean, and this is just being real, because when we first met, remember that comment that you said that you didn't want to be a preacher's
Oh,
wife?
yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
That was before.
we wasn't really in a committed relationship.
I just met you.
Yeah.
It-
But you already knew
Yeah.
that you was gonna be with the master of the RKO. but Candy, I mean, I really think this is very important. And at a time, I think we should, I always envision us going on tours and doing live shows like
Mhm.
this in front of people, so we can start discussions, because I think a lot of people are miserable in their relationships because roles and expectations was never made. And now when they
That
come
foundation
to us,
wasn't laid.
right, and now when they 3 and 4 years down the line and they're fed up, now it's boiling over.
Yeah.
And now you have to go back and fix it. And I think in order to fix the problem, prevent it. So let's get to the third one. So we
Okay.
did the first one. The first one, number 5 was.
Know your partner's love language.
Number 4 was.
Know the expectations
And
and
your
your
role.
role.
Okay. Number 3 is respect.
Oh my gosh, that's a big one.
Respect.
Because I've seen so many couples that don't respect each other.
Right. And the first thing is, I talk to people early and often, and it was like they cheated on me. When you really love I ain't even talking about love. Let's not even talk about love.
Right.
When you respect someone, you don't break those boundaries.
Yes.
You're very selfish. You're very self-centered, and people say, "Well, if something happened." You're still in control. Every man and woman still are in control of their
Yes.
bodies. And one guy told, what did he say? He said, I was drunk or whatever. And here's my thing. When he told me he was that drunk and he didn't know, I asked him, have you ever been so drunk that you woke up in the bed with 3 men? He told me, oh, no, I ain't never. So if you got control not to wake up in a bed with 3 men, then you have control not to go off and sleep with somebody. That's just a poor excuse and a lack of respect for what you got.
But it's also like respect for that person and respect for your relationship with that person.
Most definitely.
Because with that, you don't allow people to talk bad about your partner.
Talk about it.
One of
Respect.
the pieces of advice I gave my daughter on the morning of her marriage, we had a little mother-daughter conversation that a lot of women have. I told her, you put your husband first.
Mm-hmm.
He comes before me.
Yep.
He comes before your child.
Uh-oh.
He comes before anyone. You do not let anyone talk bad about your husband.
Well, you just said something that's probably going to get our comments and our email and our idea. Oh, my child. You are married to the husband. The child is the offspring of that love. If you can't understand God's order, let's put it like that.
Yes.
God's order, whether you're Christian, Islamic, or whatever, God's order is God, your spouse, your children, and everything else falls into that.
But my thing is just you have to protect that union. That union is sacred.
Because children going to grow up
and leave.
And they're going to leave.
And then you're stuck sitting there with
That's if they last that
around.
long.
Yeah,
right.
they're still around.
And you got to understand, even if in a blended family, You have to set parameters.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to do this sidebar because a real man or woman is not going to allow you to abuse the children.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying allow him to do whatever he wants or treat your children anyway. No, that's totally...
No, but as a
different.
man that you already had children, when we entered our relationship, okay? When we entered our relationship, there was already a standard for the children that they were never left out.
Yes.
But the children knew that dad is the head of the household and he was the spouse, and you set that parameter
I set that.
with meals.
Yes.
So share with them how you set the meals.
Well, my husband got his plate first. He got the big piece of chicken. He got the last piece of cake. And if it's the last piece of cake will sit there on that counter in that cake dish, and no one's to touch that cake because he gets the last piece of cake. And if that piece of cake go moldy, well, that was his problem. But we left that he got the last piece of cake out of respect for the fact that he is the head of our household. But that's how we run our household.
But being head of the household doesn't mean you're not my equal.
Oh, no.
And that's what people got to understand. God's order. See, I'm just doing it based on God. I can't do it based on the world's order because there's so much confusion out here. And people come to us with the worldview, and the only thing we can give you is what works for us. You know?
Yeah,
and it's God's order.
Yes. You're the king of the house, and I'm your queen. So it works way I run my household to show respect for you.
Right.
To have the children show respect for you as the head of the household. It works for us.
And even if they're cake sitting there, most of the time my little one, or they'll come, hey dad, you want that cake?
Want that? They have to ask you for it.
Right, and I said, y'all going to have it.
But long as that piece is left for you, you know that no matter what, it's going to be there. Unless you give it up.
But again, I'm not knocking nobody. If it's working for you, putting your husband last on the meal, and I don't know how many men going to be last, because after a while of being last, if I feel like I'm last in everything, or I'm second best, and look at the respect level. I remember in one of my marriages, what concluded my marriage is when my wife told me that her family will always be more important than I am. When I heard that, I knew the end was near. Because I'm the one that's working Department of Corrections. I'm dealing with inmates. I'm dealing with the worst in the world, trying to go to school, paying all the bills, making you happy. When you tell me that someone else or a multiplicity of people come before me, what are we going to have?
That don't work for me.
It don't work for me. How would you like for me to come to you and tell you, oh, my family more important than you'll ever be? What kind of relationship will we have? And we say this often when we say, oh, not my children. My children come first. No man or woman will ever want to step in to make you make that choice. But there's just some areas in the relationship that you have to defend your union.
Yes.
You got to tell your children, you're not going to talk to my man like that. You're going to tell my children, because I see a lot of people have guilt trips. And they try to rekindle relationship with their children they didn't before. And now that they're married, they're hanging with their children. They're traveling with their children. And they're leaving their spouse to the curb, kicking them to the curb.
And then they wonder why their spouse don't want anything to do with them when they come back.
Right. After a while of I'm being second best, what's going to happen?
You're going to be gone. I
know I'm going to be gone. I know most men and women out there going to be gone. Because you can't be in a marriage. We said I do at the altar, but you really said I do with some strings. Your child, and I don't care how you feel, your child, your church, your pastor, no one comes before your spouse. When I go to people's houses, and I wanted to share this before we get to the next one, I remember going into houses with women, and they would put me, oh, pastor, sit here. I was like, no. That's your husband. They come first. You know my rule when it comes to counseling.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, don't come in my office talking about your spouse without them being present.
Yes.
Because there are three sides to every story. There's your side, there's his side, and then guess what? There's the truth. And I don't think it's fair to that spouse. I think because of that, we started growing to the point we have more men than women. True. Men respected the ministry in me because I set boundaries even with relationships, even in religion. Because even if the spouse forgot it, you don't talk about another man to put him in order. You don't talk about another man in another man's house or kingdom. You don't put no other man before your husband, including your pastor. You got to set parameters with children, pastorship, family, early and often, because that established the level of respect. And because of that, I know you respect me. You love your daddy. I've never come in between that relationship.
No.
I love your mother. Even when you got mad at mom, I would tell you, it's still your mother, blah, blah, blah. We always establish that. She plucks my nerves.
You two team up on me.
We don't team up, but I'm going to always respect him. I may not agree with him. And before I disrespect, you have to set that. The kids, if your daughter needs you, you come talk to me, go take care of that. A real man or a real woman will never allow you to have to choose.
Make that
like
choice.
That. Right. What's the next one? What's the next one on our list? Trust.
Oh.
Trust. Now that's different than respect, because people try to couple them, and if you don't define the differences in both of them, you in trouble.
You can respect someone and not trust them.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
You can easily respect. You respect your boss, but you trust him?
Right.
You respect. Let's say.
I can respect my enemies. I can respect them to a level to be my enemy, but not trust them. There are people that I love. There are people that I respect, but I don't trust them. And how do we know about trust? It's based on past experiences. And unfairly, a lot of times, when stuff starts reminding you of past relationships, that will create a barrier of mistrust, even when that person didn't do anything. Like somebody say, well, all men cheat. No, all men don't.
No.
And I used to ask them, so you've been with all the men? Think about that, Candy.
I know when you and I first became friends.
Right.
And our relationship was growing.
Right.
And I remember when you gave me keys to your apartment.
Uh-huh.
So I had some place to get away. Because at the time I was living with my dad. And I just sometimes just needed to get away.
And you were just chilling in your car too much.
And when he was working, I had somewhere to go. He said, here, gave me a key so I can come to his place sometimes. And I was just really surprised. I'm like, wow, this man trusts me. He gave me a key to his apartment. I can go in here. I can go through his stuff. I can do this and that. But our relationship had got to the point where I didn't have a need to do that. I didn't feel like I had to, because I trusted him.
Even now.
Even now. Oh, we have the code to each other's phone. We know the passwords to each other's emails and social media.
And the reason I set that up, because I always say, if I was away or I needed something taken care of or in the hospital, you should have access, because, again, with my role in society as a pastor and a businessman, I would always want somebody. How can you trust your secretary with the codes and stuff to emails and not your wife? True. Because if that's the case, you shouldn't be with them. True. With the apartment thing, Candy, it was simple. There was nothing in my house to hide. There was nothing. I mean,
you weren't doing anything.
I was working long hours, and some days you would.
What? I think I knew your passwords back then. I think you told me the passwords to things back then.
Was it? I don't know.
I don't remember now.
But again, I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
I was always an open book.
You're very transparent.
Even when I told you I was dating somebody else, and I said I was going to take this girl out,
we
had no relationship.
We were just friends. So, but that's the other thing. We set that expectations with each other very early in our relationship.
Right.
So we knew exactly what we were dealing with.
Right.
With each other.
Right.
So we weren't exclusive.
No.
At that time. We weren't exclusive at that time, but it wasn't simple. It wasn't like we sat there and discussed that. Oh, this other. We didn't do that with each other. We allowed our relationship to grow to where the other people just got pushed out the way.
And then I made a statement, because I wanted you to know. I said, listen, you got 2 weeks to get rid of all the flies out your cabinet.
Yeah.
Before the exterminator comes.
Yes, I remember that.
And I mean, that's just being adult.
Yeah.
You know, because I know some guys that took a fancy to you. I saw that New Year's Eve picture, and I said, "Oh, I know she got a lot of admirers, but she's going to have to get rid of it." Because once I made up my mind, the Lord is my shepherd. I know what I want, and I say, He has sent me. He has sent of me.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just trust. I mean, trust is so important. There's not a bank account. I mean, we have a joint account,
and we have our separate accounts.
And I respect it because guess what? If I love you, I should want the best for you. And, you know, I always say, thank God for Cash App.
Oh, my gosh.
I can send you whatever I want to send you on top of what you got, because we're not in competition with one
another. We good for Cash Apping each other money.
No. Hey, baby, send me 20. Hey, baby, I need 100. You know, but that's because we trust one another. And I like I say, I'm not jealous because if you make more money than me, it don't even matter. Half the time, you don't even have to spend that money on nothing we do. I'll still do my job as a male. You as my spouse will refuse to let me struggle even though I'm doing the male thing. And you'll say, well, I took care of this. Yeah. I took care of that because we are in this together. Because, again, before mentioned, we said we knew our roles. And I told you, I saw my dad and mom. I saw my grandparents. So I patterned that to be the male provider. So my boys. So, you know, our children. Because we got a 22-year-old.
23.
23. He's 20.
He's 23.
Oh, Lord, he's 23. But we have a 23-year-old, and I want them to see what makes a man. And you always say daily that he started to act like me, talk like me. But these are the lessons that were passed down to create a trusting, long-lasting, healthy. If you don't have trust, you can have everything on this list, but trust.
You don't trust a person?
I've been in a relationship where I never showed signs that I was cheating, but they never trusted me to go out. You cannot hold your spouse accountable for the sins of who they with. You can't.
Goodness, you go out like this past week. You went out. I knew when you went out. When I didn't really go anywhere. To the pool.
But it didn't matter.
But that trust is there. Even when you went away to South Carolina for a weekend. Yes. I knew you were out having fun with the guys and everything down there. But we just have that trust that it was just I never worried or concerned.
Right. And if you do, you in a wrong relationship.
Yeah.
And finishing up that statement, I know. So I was watching, and we laugh at it, but it's real. It's a reality that men feel they got to ask permission to go out with the fellas. Women got to ask permission to go out with the men. And I've always say this, and this is my note: you are a grown man or woman. I always say, "Hey, babe, I want to go out. I'm gonna go out with the fellas and everything. You got anything planned or somebody just to make sure I'm not bumping heads."
Yes.
As an adult, you have a right to have a life outside of your relationship.
But that's also respect.
Right.
You come to me and you say, hey, do you have anything going on in this date? I plan on going out.
Right.
Out of respect for my time.
Right.
And I do the same for you. If I have, this came up, what do you have planned?
Right.
It's out of respect for your time.
Mm-hmm. Because as an adult, you shouldn't have to. I don't care what kind of relationship. Beg somebody or lie to somebody to go out. That's freedom. That's freedom.
I want you need to get out and be around your fellas and have that male time.
Because
being up under me all the time, you need to.
But some people live like that and are miserable. And I'm telling y'all today that you have to develop trust. Don't allow someone else's insecurities to be your prison.
Yeah, because I don't have to track your phone.
You better
see
not.
Where you're at all times.
Shoot. That's the biggest turnoff to me. And I know too, as a woman, a man that's following her, because Kelly Price.
I dealt with a very jealous person.
Right.
And it's just.
But that song that Kelly Price and Stokely sing, "You're not my daddy, you my man. You're not my mama, you my girl." That's the truth. That's the truth. Big up to Kelly Price and Stokely. Love that song. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
Where we at now? We are at number one.
Number one.
Number one, girl. Ain't going to tell them.
Good communication. Now, if you saw a theme through everything that we've talked about, it was always talking.
Yeah.
Talking, communicating with each other.
But you got to think about this. Let's help them understand what communication is, because it's more than talking. A good communication is listening more than you are talking. Because we spend more time, or once you're hearing what your spouse says, instead of really digesting it, you waiting for your rebuttal. Right.
Yeah.
And my thing is, when I listen to you, I oftentimes repeat it. I was in a relationship where they thought, why you treat me like you're retarded? You said you didn't want something. I regurgitated what you said to make sure I have an understanding that we were the same wavelength. Like, say, for instance, you say, I don't like it when you grab my hand hard. I said, so what you mean is when I grab your hand, I don't like this, you don't like that, right? I'm not saying it to be smart. I'm just trying to make sure in my male hearing.
You heard her correctly.
It's like that, we had an incident like that early in our relationship. I don't know what it was.
Oh, it was something, I can't even remember. Probably a stupid argument or something. And you said something to me that triggered me.
Mm-hmm.
And it sent me back to a past relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting, all those same bad feelings were coming up. Mm-hmm. And I was tempted to react as I would have back then. Mm-hmm. And I realized, no, you're the reason why, I can't remember what it was said, but you didn't say it with the same intention that he said it.
Right.
So I told you, don't ever say that to me again. Mm-hmm. And you never did. Mm-hmm. I said, don't talk to me that way, or don't say, it was something along that lines. Don't say that to me again. Don't talk to me like that again. And you never spoke to me that way again.
Right. And that doesn't mean you're weak, man. The strongest man has a compassion for the feelings of the person they're in love with. Mm-hmm. And I think if you really respect, trust, establish roles, and know your spouse or your partner's love language, that should come easy. If they say they don't like it, don't argue why they should. Respect it and move on. There's plenty of things you can do besides that thing that irritates them. And grow up, mature past tit for tat.
Yeah.
You know, good communication. I tell you, you may fix a dish that I call it bougie.
I like to try to experiment.
Or the white folk stuff. That's what I say.
I like to experiment.
And I say
different things.
I'm from East Baltimore. I don't want to eat that mess
until you try it.
And then most of the time I don't like it.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
There's been some things you liked.
Some of that stuff don't even smell like it should be eaten.
There's some things you like.
Some things. Later on, I matured. Like, I blew her mind that New Year's Eve when I ate chicken Alfredo.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I don't eat white stuff.
For some reason. But now you do.
Yeah, I eat that Alfredo.
Yes.
What else have I eaten that you... Crabs.
You did surprise me with crabs because you never ate crabs with me before.
And I told you before.
Until this past year.
Right. Because, you won all those crabs out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I won Conrad's crab contest.
Mm-hmm. And I've learned my taste changed too, because remember a lot of my changes came after COVID. Mm-hmm. Remember I saw taste and stuff, and my taste came back after a couple of months without taste, and but I learned to enjoy taste, and I respect you enough to try something, even if it's a spoonful and I don't like it.
But if you don't like it, you tell me you don't like it, so I know not to feed you that anymore. Now, me and the boys might eat it, but you don't like it, so I won't feed that to you.
Y'all the cheese eating people I know.
I love cheese.
I don't.
But that's also within a relationship. There's something people don't like.
Right. And
if they don't communicate that with their spouse, and their spouse keep doing it over and over and over again, then you getting angry and mad, and
how
keeping that in and getting upset. How are you supposed to know I don't like it if I don't tell you I don't like it?
Right. But then you got people say, well, I told him I don't like it and he still do it. Like, I told him I don't like him going out with his buddies. And then he still does it.
You need to find out you guys, that's another conversation where you guys need to sit and talk.
Right. I don't think. Okay, and
why you don't want him going out with his buddies? What are your reasonings?
Well, they hang out there and they womanize and they got all these girlfriends.
Okay,
and
to me, then if you're not expressing your feelings to him, what are you afraid of happening? He doesn't know that's how you feel.
Even deeper than that, why should he have to get rid of a lifetime of friendship because you, the newcomer, don't like something?
Well, I don't see it as getting rid of those friendships, but
friendship takes nurturing. And if you're not hanging around your boys and everything, there's going to be a rift and y'all go y'all separate ways. A lot of women that I didn't like my single friends. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, they got all these girls. Didn't have anything to do with me. Single men supposed to have girls.
But you're not hanging out with them when they have all those girls, so...
I've been out with them when they had some of their girlfriends. But it's none of my business. They not married.
Long they not hanging on you.
The bottom line is, I think it's disrespectful. Come on, I've never had women hanging on me.
But that's respect.
Right. I mean, I don't...
You wouldn't do that out of respect for our relationship.
Even in I have never cheated. I cheated one time. And I don't call it a cheat. Because they had kicked me out of their house and talked nasty to me. And I happened to leave the house. I was on the bus stop down there by Lexington Market. And this little it was everything that I wanted, that I liked. Mm-hmm. Light skin, nice booty, all that stuff like that. And she came up and then we was talking. And I don't know how the thing is, because I lived out Garden Village. Mm-hmm. And we were catching the 5. And I said, where you going tonight? She said, I'm going to your house. Girl, you ain't going to my house. And when I got off the bus, she got off the bus with me.
She going to your house.
And she was in my house. We started drinking that white Zinfandel. And stuff. One thing later, and I'm like, woo, pop little weasel. But I later admitted that to my girlfriend then, that it happened. But that was like 2 days. She didn't want to talk to me no more, all this stuff like that, because of an argument with her family. I get kicked out of a house. I'm like, kick me out. So, okay, so I had to go all the way across town, catch the 23 from West Baltimore to the 5 to go to my house in Northeast Baltimore. So I was wounded. I was upset. And it was like situational time. And that was the last thing, because it hurt me so much that I even did that. I never did it again. Mm-hmm. I never did it again because it hurt me that much. And it's not that I'm a perfect man. I'm a perfecting man. And things I did wrong before, I worked to get better. Like communication was one of my worst things in a relationship. My wives started becoming my enemies because they kept telling me what I can't do. You can't tell a grown man what they can't do.
I don't think I've ever told you what you can't do.
No, you don't tell somebody you can't go out.
I don't think I've never said that.
You can't do this, you can't do that.
Well, it's not like you go out much anyway.
But even I go out more now than I've ever done.
True.
But the thing is, you can't.
That's not even a lot.
But when you got all dressed up and you wanted to go out somewhere, I'm cool. I got the boys. I'm good. Because I know who you're going to come home to. And you walk through that door looking like you looking, I know who that belongs to. That's right. I know it's mine. And you know it's mine. And like Mr. T said on Rocky 3, I will destroy any man who tries to take what's mine. And that's my favorite movie, y'all. That's what my favorite thing. But again,
communication.
You gotta learn to talk it out. You gotta see, and another show coming up soon. We're gonna talk about the 20 questions every dating couple need to discuss.
Yeah, because we asked each other a lot of questions.
Gosh. Because I use those in my relationship with you. Yeah. Those 20 questions, like you want children, stuff like that. You gotta ask early.
Because I always think we never had couples therapy, but we kind of did.
Because I'm a therapist.
With each other, because we asked each other all those questions. We had all those foundations. We had that foundation set quite early in our relationship as friends.
Well, think about it. I'm a marriage counselor.
Yeah.
I'm a grief counselor. I'm a mentor, a motivator. Why not apply what I apply to everyone else to make a healthy, wholesome? See, everything that I teach other couples, I did myself.
Yeah. To see what we agree on certain things.
But it's just the methodology of talking to you. Intimacy is into me, you see. And if I'm not intimate with you, then we have nothing. We are a team. And look at your relationship as that. Not all relationships going to work out. And you find that out when you communicate. Some people are holding on to dead things too long. That relationship is not you. Y'all don't fit. And you're just afraid of being alone, so you're holding on to something that's dead. Y'all can't even talk to each other. You talk at each other. You're not, it's me against the world, Tupac. It's me against my spouse against the world. And we're not in competition.
It's not saying that we don't disagree.
We do agree.
And we don't have arguments.
Right.
But I know with us, we don't have to come out and say, I'm sorry. Our sorry come off as actions towards each other.
I do apologize most of the time.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
But it's your actions. A lot of times with your actions is how you say you're sorry.
That's when I'm right. You know, I'd be right more like 75% of the time, but you just got to have your way.
Okay.
You just got to have it. And I respect it. I say this. Good communication is this, y'all. You have a right to express how you feel.
Yes. Yes, that's
Don't
true.
feel that you got to subjugate yourself to somebody because you don't hurt their feelings. Bump their feelings. Say what you mean and mean what you say, but do it in a manner that's respectful. You know, if you don't like what I said to you, say, listen, I don't want you to ever talk to me like that again. I love you, but I will not have that.
I don't like that.
Set your boundaries. That's your expectations. That's part of communication. You know, always be upfront and honest. And I think society builds a false reality when it comes to relationships. We spend so much time whining and dining and never knowing the people that we may have as a spouse until it's too late.
Yeah. And
I wanted to spend our first 6 months just knowing one another, talking about this, and we found out we had so many things. I found out a lot of your family members.
Yeah, a lot in common. Right. A lot more. It's for us to be so different. We have so much in common.
In True Blood.
Yeah, I never wanted to watch that show until you.
Yeah, buddy. You know, and they probably say, "Oh, the pastor watching True Blood."
I think we started binge watching shows.
Yes.
I never binge watched shows until then.
Oh, yeah, we just want to catch up and just learn. And then you Walking Dead. Who ever thought you would be watching a zombie show?
Oh,
but look, it's not always about me because you got me involved in your shows, and I think that makes me well-rounded. Like you watch Tyler Perry Sisters, and you watch The Oval, and we watch Queen of the South. So I spend time with you watching the things you like. You spend time with me watching the things I like, and they become great conversations.
Yes.
Me and you oftentimes will see stuff, and it'll become a conversation that helps grow us. And we talk a lot. Yeah. Not at each other. We are best friends.
Yes, we are.
I like you.
I like you too.
I missed you when you was gone too.
I missed you too, baby.
Girl, 9 days without you.
Tell you, ask any of the parents that were in the house, they would tell you. I love this man.
I love this woman right here.
And
man.
I missed you terribly.
If God made anything better than you, he had to keep it in heaven for itself. And that's the God knows truth.
But that's the one thing that I've truly discovered being away on this trip. Because Dylan was in a whole nother house. He was in the house with the team. I was in the house with the parents. I missed you.
I missed you too. It was like missing.
I wanted you there so bad to experience things with me that I didn't want to do anything unless I could have you there with me.
Wow. We were together so long, and the only time we've been separated for the most part is when you've been in the hospital.
Yeah.
And stuff
and now
like
that you're working from home, I think that's probably why he made it even harder on us, because we're together all the time.
All the time.
And that's one way you really truly like your spouse, when you can be with them all the time and they don't get on your nerves. So he's here all day long. I'm with him doing my thing, and
It works.
It works for us.
It works. So to recap everything, the 5 things we talked about building a healthy, strong relationship, and it's about being healthy. Because you make me better. Neo said it better. Our spouses, our partners make us better when it's healthy.
Yes.
It becomes strong. Stronger. And and it starts with knowing your love language. I love being touched. I love touching you. You should want to touch a person. Even when it come down when you had turtle breath. That's our code word, y'all. We had code words. I don't want to say, baby, your breath is rocking.
Turtles.
I'll say turtles. And that's the word to say your breath needs to be fixed. We communication.
Even to the kids are doing that.
The turtles, mama, turtles. They tell to each other turtles. But, and turtles came from, I said turtle water. You ever been to a place that...
See, I had pet turtles, so I knew what turtle water smelled like.
Yeah, buddy. Ooh. So, so you want to know your partner's love language. And I'm telling you, men, she's in the kitchen. She's doing something. Be spontaneous. Be spontaneous. Blow her mind. You see in the bathroom, you see her somewhere, just reach your arms around her and hold her tight. Kiss her on her neck and just walk away. Gosh. Just walk away. These things, even at a heated argument, you walking in, you wrap your arms around that girl and you put your head on her shoulders and you kiss her. She gonna tell you to get off of her, don't touch her. Just kiss her and walk away. Leave it alone. We talk too much sometimes. You see her, you rub her hand. She's sitting on the phone talking. You watching football. Selfless move. Grab her feet, put them on the chair, and just rub them joints. Just rub them babies. Rub them babies. Work up the shin. You ain't, see, listen, you don't have to, I never ask my woman for no sex. You just got to learn the art of seduction. That's another show. Where you just maneuver and manipulate to the point where that love language is loud and clear. Secondly, you have to set roles and expectations in your relationship. You got to know who you are, what's expected of you, yes, and the boundaries that's been set, yes, so you don't fall out of line with that. You have to do that. Know what they like, know what they don't like, what they'll tolerate, what they won't tolerate. What's good, what's bad.
What's a deal breaker?
And what's a deal maker.
Yes.
Right. So we got to learn that early and often. Then you got to learn to respect them. Yes. Respect. And people can say, well, respect and trust the same. No, it's different. Respecting is setting up boundaries where you care for that person's heart more than you care about what you get in return. A night of passion with the wrong person will mean a lifetime of misery because you disrespected. I don't understand how a person say, I will break a relationship off of respect, because if you don't respect me, we don't have a relationship.
I wouldn't want to be with someone who doesn't respect
I'm not going to
me.
be with nobody.
I did that for 10 years, and it's miserable.
It's miserable.
It's miserable.
When you keep telling them they cheating and all this, you're not respecting me. When I tell you, I don't like when you go out and stay out all night and you go out and do it anyway. That's disrespectful. There should be an agreement. If I'm going out of town, that's one thing. But if you're out there partying all night, bring your tail home. And after a while, that gets old.
True.
Then you start doing that tit for tat crap, and that's that childish stuff. Yeah. That's that high school love stuff. Nobody need that. And then the next one is trust. Trust comes with, I believe trust is built. You just don't get that right away. Yeah. You have to earn that level. And when you become intimate with somebody and you start to see who they really are, you can begin to trust them because, number one, they keep their word.
Yes.
They do what they say they're going to do. They're apologetic. They do things to help build the relationship. And they don't do something to make you second guess it. Why he don't answer his phone? Why he don't do this? If I'm not going to answer my phone, I'll tell you, look, I don't want to be bothered with nobody today.
If you don't answer your phone, I figure you're busy.
Right.
But I don't assume that, you're
with some girl.
Out there with some girl. Like, okay, perfect example. This past week when the fight came on, mm-hmm, and you went over your buddy's house. Mm-hmm. And I remember I called you, mm-hmm, afterwards. and you didn't answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed your phone was dead because I knew you went to your buddy's house and you
Right.
your buddy's house to
And
watch
it
the
actually
fight.
did die.
And so I assumed, okay, his phone must have died. I'll call him in the morning.
Right.
I didn't assume, you with some girl, I'm out of town, you doing this.
That's maturity, though.
I didn't think any of that. I knew you were out, so I figured his phone must have died.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to him later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if you called me that. No.
I called you tonight.
Did you call me that night?
You was asleep.
I was going to say, how? I went to bed. I was out.
Right.
But that's I think that's a good example there of I trusted you.
Yeah. And then the final thing is good communication. Sometimes you got to shut off this is an exercise me and her do. We'll lay in the bed or sit out and listen to love songs that we grew up and analyze what's being said.
That should be a whole show by itself.
Man, some of that craziness that they be saying in those songs, you never know what it is until you actually listen to the stuff they were saying. You know? So spend time. Just cut the TV off. Stop what you're doing. Turn off social media and just sit down there on the sofa and talk. Dream together. This is the house we're going to get. This is what I want to do. I want to start a business. Talk.
And listen.
If I tell you I don't like something, you tell me you don't like something, we agree. It's that simple.
Yes.
You know, I do love you, baby.
I love you
and
too.
you know, I thank God that we can share our expertise, our wisdom, our experience from our pain in the past with so many beautiful couples out there and so many people that want to live and love again, that I believe this is going to be an awesome exploration. This is our journey together. You know,
I'm enjoying it.
Don't forget, y'all. Don't forget. Do not forget. If you haven't already and you're looking at it on YouTube, what they going to do, Candy?
They're going to subscribe.
Uh-huh.
Hit the subscribe button.
Right.
Hit the like button.
Uh-huh.
And hit that bell notification so you know when the next episode's coming up so you don't miss one.
Okay. And don't forget.
Oh, don't forget, leave a comment.
Please do. We want to, we are open to changing. This show will evolve. We will have guests. We'll be doing stuff in exotic locations because we made our studio mobile. And we want to do some things really to build our audience participation. Do us a favor. Help us spread the word. Our goal for the month of December is simply 500 new subscribers, viewers. We want to keep it simple, and we can't get there without your help.
Share.
Share, like, comment. Share us on relationship groups, marriage groups. You are free to share some of our video. Please share. Every day of the week, except for Saturday and Sunday, there's new media on our YouTube page as we break down our shows in tidbits. So feel free to share those simple videos on TikTok, Instagram. Spread the word. Hashtag the Bradbys. Hashtag the Bradbys Show. Hashtag the Bradbys Podcast. Just share us. And we just so appreciative. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. And tune in again next Monday for another powerful show. You got any words, baby?
I think you said it all, honey.
All right. I love you. And we believe in love. And there's nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. There's nothing impossible that you two can achieve together. Peace and blessings.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into The Bradbys Show with your hosts, Matthew and Candy Bradby. Please subscribe to this channel, click like, and share this episode. Tune in every Monday on your favorite podcast platform for new episodes. If you liked this show, please consider becoming a partner today. Visit www.thebradbys.com for more information. Do you have a question or great show topic? Join us on your favorite social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn today at The Bradbys. And as we sign off, please remember there is nothing more powerful than a made-up mind. A successful relationship is a choice. Goodbye for now.